I'm with Priya, and this is Confidently Closed. We're going to go over how she got over the hill to home ownership and confidently bought her first home. So, Priya, just tell everyone where you live and where you bought your first home and what did you buy?
So I'm from Chicago. I bought my first ever home. It's a condo. It's a two-bed, two-bath in downtown Chicago.
Great.
Yeah.
Now, did you do it downtown? You're a doctor.
Yeah.
So did you get it downtown so that you could be? This is Confidently Closed, bringing you inspiring stories of first-time home buyers. Close to like the hospital or close to where you work?
Yes, it's about a couple of miles from where I work.
Okay,
So
great.
yeah.
So we have 4 questions. That was our first one. So we're Chicago downtown.
Yeah.
Now we're just going to talk about the process. So
Yeah.
how did you, like, let's talk about how did you find your real estate agent, the pre-approval process, all of that.
Great. So, I've been looking at Zillow like everybody does in quarantine. So
Right.
that was my pastime. And then I think what I was looking was the interest rates were down,
Right.
and it seemed like a good time to buy. And I asked a few friends, and I asked them, if they know anybody, any real estate agents, just word of mouth. And then they pointed me to a real estate agent that was a relative of one of my friends. So
Okay.
that worked out well.
Good.
And then I had an idea of where I wanted to live, and I already had an idea of what I wanted, so to
Okay.
speak, broadly. Like I knew I wanted a two-bed, two-bath. I knew I wanted a balcony. I knew I wanted a condo, not a
Right.
townhome. And I had some specifics. And so we kind of narrowed it down to the neighborhood that I think was important, to hone down the needs.
Okay.
Especially with COVID, we couldn't see a lot of these condos in person. We had to do a virtual tour.
Gotcha.
And so I finally narrowed it down to a few condos in the same building and just scheduled them all on one day so I
That's
could go
smart.
see them all. And then I think because this is my first time, I wasn't
Right.
really sure. So I really binge watched all your videos,
Okay. Right.
for your first time home buyer videos. And I think
Right.
that was very, very helpful. I took notes and I was like, okay, so I
I
could
know
feel
too.
intelligent when I'm talking to people.
Right. And you know what you're talking about. So was the pre-approval process pretty smooth?
Yes.
So
So
that was a
that
good.
part, the pre-approval process went on pretty smooth, but I think what really was hard for me is to find a lender,
Okay.
especially in this competitive rate market.
Okay.
So that I really had to like understand the breakdown, and I think that was really important also from one of your videos,
Okay.
what we're talking about, what are the closing costs, what is, all of that. I think helped me, kind of parse down who I really needed to go with
Okay.
in the
That's good.
end.
So you said you looked at various condos in the same building. How did you make your decision, or did you make offers on more than one?
So I had made offers in more than one,
Okay.
very similar, but I ended up kind of my preference was to go with a higher floor.
Okay.
And so the person who was selling the lower floor actually was the condo I went in to buy.
Okay.
But when I looked at the one that was on the higher floor for basically the same price and had a better view, we
Right.
Chicagoans, we like our view. And so I also had a bigger parking spot available.
Okay.
So I kind of put, them together and said, okay, which one's worth more in the end,
Okay.
towards the long run? And so that too helped me. The lower floor was already like fully done, ready to go.
Right.
The higher floor had a few things that needed to be done, but I
Okay.
could do them to my preference.
Gotcha. So
So
you
it
kind of
was,
remodel.
yeah,
Hmm.
like a bit of both.
Okay. Now, were you able to get, because I know, at least I'm in Georgia, Atlanta, and
Hmm.
it's very competitive, like single family homes,
Yeah.
because everybody's leaving the city and they're moving to the suburbs. So
Oh,
did you felt like you had more opportunity, or was it very competitive in Chicago too?
it was going off the market like that.
Like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, especially downtown. Things are not staying. They used to be there for like 3 months and stuff
Ooh,
before,
yeah,
but they hardly stay now. 30 days and they're already gone.
they're gone. Okay, so you have to
Yeah.
move quickly.
Yeah.
All right, so were you able to get any of your closing costs paid?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, sometimes when it's
So
competitive, you can't,
yeah,
but yeah.
so I did make a wager. I said I'm gonna take the building as is, as
Okay,
in, you don't have to do any remodeling or anything like that because or and so I had asked you, do I need to do an inspection because I live in a condo?
right,
And I know you had said yes, you have to because it's always, what you're buying. And I
right,
ended up doing the inspection, which was good because I then decided it's good, it looks good, so I don't, have them want to charge me for remodeling or changing or doing the small things.
right.
So I'll take that, I'll eat that, and then you do the
Okay,
closing
because you knew the
costs.
condition going into it, like, so
Yeah,
there's no surprises.
yeah,
All
yeah,
right, let's talk a little bit about, because some people, they love condos, but then there's always an association fee that
correct,
they
yeah.
have to pay every month. So what does yours include?
So the association fees in downtown Chicago are ridiculous. I'm just gonna throw that off.
Right.
They're very expensive, almost like a rent of a studio, actually. That's quite
Right.
expensive.
Okay.
But they all have, this particular one has a pool, an outdoor space, barbecue space. It has an area where you can actually rent for
Okay.
parties, like a big common room.
Okay.
Uh, has like a sauna, has all the
Yeah.
the
All
the
the things that
upscale,
you don't have to go outside to get, or
right,
fitness center, I
right,
guess. Okay.
exactly. and
Gotcha. So
and
kind of,
they also have a storage locker, storage areas, for a biking space, and then they also have like a balcony
okay.
area where you can hang out. So it comes with a lot of perks, but still it's a lot of money
Okay. Yes.
that we need to end up paying. But I think it's definitely in the medium range
Okay.
of
Compared
HOAs
to other buildings.
compared to other buildings. One HOA, as your building tire goes up, because mine's on the top floor,
Right.
so that went up a little bit. But other than that, I think it's average for Chicago downtown
Okay.
area.
Before you bought the condo, did you see like the association rules and all of that kind of
Hmm.
stuff ahead of
Yeah,
time? Okay.
yeah.
Good.
They were supposed to send that over before we closed and before we looked at, making sure that there isn't anything surprise,
Right. Right. So let's talk about the next step would be like appraisals. So
Mhm.
did they come, your lender came to appraise, did it appraise for the price?
Yes, actually appraised. You know, we put it, yeah, it actually appraised right at just above the price.
Price. Okay, good.
So
So you don't have any appraisal issues.
yeah,
So you under contract, appraisal goes well.
yep,
Anything with the closing, was the closing smooth?
very smooth. In fact, I was very nervous,
Okay.
going with the closing, and so my real estate agent works with a lawyer
Okay.
an attorney, so he was able to help me with that and help me completely smooth out the process.
Okay.
And the person who was selling, I think his daughter was a real estate agent, so
Okay.
it turned out quite smooth. I never met the seller.
The seller. Okay. This the
Yeah,
daughter came to the closing.
yeah.
Okay, that's good.
So
You say you were nervous, and a lot of people are nervous when they're going to the closing. What do you think is going to happen versus what actually happened? I think people think there's like a lot more. Like they're going to take the house from you. Like,
I really was nervous because I'm like, what is this whole thing? Everybody talks about closing and
right.
it's such a big deal, but it's basically the attorney just explaining what
Mhm.
what you know what it all meant and just signing like 40 pages.
Like all of these like signing your life away, basically saying this
Right.
property is yours.
Yeah. And I always remember just one thing. If you don't pay your lender by this date, there is a risk of foreclosure.
Yeah, most of those papers, I think at least half of them are all about foreclosure.
Right.
You don't pay, they can take the house. You don't pay, they can take the house. You don't pay, they take the house. And making sure you know it like 10 times. Now,
Yeah.
did you already move in?
Not yet, because I wanted to get my flooring done.
Okay.
So that was a part of the deal was I didn't want carpet in the house.
Okay.
And it was really disgusting anyway, and it needed to come out.
Right.
So that's the part of the cost that I said, don't worry about it. I'll take care of that. So cover my closing costs and don't worry about changing the carpet or whatever.
Okay, yeah, because you'll be able to, with the money you saved in closing costs, you have more money to put toward the carpet or other things you want to change in the house.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. So I have only 2 more questions. What video of yours kind of made it think, because how long did you rent before you bought?
Oh, I rented 3 years.
3 years, okay.
Yeah.
So what made you say, you said there's a pandemic and interest rates kind of said, I should buy?
Yeah, you know, it was the right time and the right place came along with all my, I kind of had an idea, this is what I want. And I was looking for those, you know, with the filters on Zillow and Redfin, and you just looking. But before, when I looked at this and I told the real estate agent, this looks like it's a good list of places.
Right.
But then from that time to, okay, let's go see the places. We're all lined up because of the pandemic. We're going to knock off like 3 places at once, you know, that kind of thing. It was very fast.
Okay.
And so in that period of time, I felt like I didn't know where to go and ask questions. So that's when I stumbled onto your YouTube channel. And basically, to, you know, first I just started out with mortgage calculator. That's how I basically just started out, you know, not knowing how much I need. So your video of how much do you really need before you buy a house, that video was key.
Yeah, I think like, can you afford a house, or how much money do you need?
How much money do you need to buy a house? Yeah.
Right.
Your whole series of your first time home buyer series, you have a playlist.
A list. Okay.
Yeah. So I basically just binge watched the whole thing.
Like the Netflix of home buying.
Yeah.
Like,
no, for real. It was very helpful because there are some terminologies that when you even ask a lender to send you, okay, this is what I want. Can you send me your quote so I can see what you're offering me?
Right.
And all of those costs that are there, and all of those little, you know, the fees, small wording,
right,
that I had no idea what it was. So when, you know, you explained that really well, so then I could kind of play smart and say, okay, but you know,
like I know the lingo.
I know the lingo. Exactly.
I know the lingo, right.
Yeah.
And this is I know, like, you're a pediatric neurosurgeon, but sometimes you don't know like the mortgage side. I'm sure you're super intelligent, you know. Yeah, but the mortgage is a whole different thing.
It's
that's like mind blowing to me a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's a completely different game. Even, you know, there was a lot of physician loans I could apply for. You know, they said, oh, you know, no down payment. We'll give you the whole, you know, we'll give you a great rate. So just to compare the rates, even,
right,
I wanted to know. I couldn't understand when, you know, they're talking about when they're closing. They're talking about the appraisal fee. They're talking about. I was like, what does that even mean? You know?
Right. Okay, good to know. So what would be your number, now that you bought a house, you completed the process, what would you say to other first-time home buyers? What is your best advice to them now?
First, to know how much you can afford.
Okay.
And then kind of, I mean, everybody has a dream of buying this like great place. And I just feel like knowing our budget limits is really important, because they may put something out there saying this is how much it costs, but the actual costs are way more
than
what it actually is on paper. So even if you have a strict budget, I would say stick to it, because when you close, you're always going to have more costs.
Right.
And I think saving to put in as much of a down payment as possible
Right.
is important. I think, to me personally, because I don't want to have to worry about paying somebody or paying a bank, or
Right.
just having a down payment, at least a
Yeah.
substantial down payment.
Where you're not, overextending yourself, you can
Yeah.
still do everything else you want to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that, I think that's key to just know, like, I come from India,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a saying, it's like, stretch your legs as far as your bed goes.
Okay, yeah, that's a good saying. So
Yeah.
don't overextend yourself.
Yeah.
Know your limits, right?
Correct.
Yes, I think that's great advice.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just so happy that you took your time to share. Because it's always good for other people to see that other people were able to accomplish it, and maybe that is not as hard or as difficult maybe as people perceive it to be.
It was very true. I was very nervous. I wasn't, I always thought that, I always ask people, what do I need to know? How do I need to buy? And people always, once they have bought it, they're like so nonchalant. They're like, it's easy. It's not a big deal. But when
Right.
you're going through the process, there are so many little things. And honestly, I'm very grateful that I stumbled upon your channel, because it's very, you have very clear videos, and you've really gotten like good explanations for hard concepts. And I think it reaches across to a whole different population of people. So it's very universal
Yes.
when you lay it out.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Priya. I really, really appreciate it. And congratulations. Are you moving in soon? When are they going to be finished with the flooring?
So moving at the end of the month.
Okay. Congratulations.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. And thank you so much for doing this interview with me.
Well, good luck with your YouTube channel and your business. I'm sure your clients will be very happy to have you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.